Okay.
When we first started broadcasting the budget committee meetings,
Is that accurate? You know?
people quit because they
You
didn't
wanna be on camera?
people to see what they were saying.
Oh, jeez.
And I can tell you that people got quite a bit nicer and politer when we started broadcasting the meetings.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, because they're held accountable.
Right.
Exactly. As soon as the camera goes off though,
Oh, yeah.
the daggers
All
come
set?
out.
Okay, so we're live, call the meeting to order at 6:01 PM. We have a quorum, so we're gonna go with the minutes first. If somebody would like to make a motion on the August 26th minutes.
Move to accept as written.
Second.
Motion from Alan, second from Dick.
I'm just, oh, yeah. My name is spelled wrong.
Oh, talk to the guy across the street from you there. He's-
Scribner's error, Scribner's error.
Yeah, Scribner's there. One L. In some places you have it right, in other places you add an extra. I'll get over it.
At least I got mine spelled right finally.
Alright, so apart from that
Yeah.
correction, anything else anybody noticed or? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All set. Alright, old business, we've got the open committee seats, so I reached out to two that ran last year and didn't win. I emailed and called and left voicemails. I ended up talking to one and he said he was still interested, so I asked him to send a little bio over to me, and he hasn't done that yet. I also told him about the meeting tonight and he's not here yet, so. The other one just didn't respond at all to either way, so I'm assuming he's no longer interested. We do have a third person, but I figured we'd give those two people first dibs, but I have a third person I can call. So I'll probably call him after this meeting since we haven't heard from the other two. So, to be continued, but I will call the third person. Okay. Moving on to the committee schedule. So this got emailed out, there's a couple of edits that already happened. If you look down at the fire department line for the budget committee side, it was just typed in as, I think, November, right?
It was like January.
Or January, okay.
I left the 2 out.
Those there, but Steve, you said you had something.
Yeah, I'd like to move the library if we could.
Move the library.
Okay.
Where's your library?
Do you have a spot you think they would slide into well?
Where is it?
They're
The
the
very
top.
first
Yeah,
time.
second.
Would have bitten us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing jumped out as being light.
What is the reason that you wanna move it?
We're not gonna be ready.
Oh, okay, good reason.
Could you swap out for like the ZBA, Planning Board and Conservation Committee? They're not generally too hard.
Yeah, that would work.
And you're on at least one of those, right?
Yeah, the ZBA is no big deal.
Okay.
I'm good with the ZBA, I don't know about the other two.
Anybody else have any insight or anybody have any problem with us reaching out? And actually, none of these committees have seen this, so.
Yeah,
they
no,
won't
yeah,
know.
no.
So,
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Well, just move around and send it out.
Assuming Ben's talked a lot of rates, you probably know.
yeah, we know.
Yeah. and
Water is
it's
aware.
good, yeah.
And water of the meetings, they're scheduled, and water and sewer is the big one.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good idea, Dick.
So just to be clear, we're swapping library and ZBA,
Actually, the conservation, ZBA and planning.
all three of those are moving up to water.
Right.
Yep.
They move as a sort of a package.
Right.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
I can make that edit too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So it looks like we've got some oars in here, so do we wanna set the dates?
Yeah, there's my note.
Yeah, for Historical Society, anything else, it says the 11th or the 18th, let's go with the 18th.
Yeah, I would think we should try to
Yeah.
avoid holidays as much as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause I knew the office stuff would be
Right.
off, but I
Right.
didn't, so I didn't wanna. Okay, so then let's see, so we got the 18th.
Yep.
And then the week of Thanksgiving, do we wanna meet that Monday before Thanksgiving or meet after?
No, the Monday before is better than the Monday after,
After.
because people travel and.
That's what, yeah.
So 11/25,
Yeah.
so we'll have back to back, or 2
Yeah.
Mondays in a row, that's fine.
And then again for fire and ambulance is week of Christmas. Christmas Eve. So
Yep.
we either meet the day after the selectmen meeting on the 20th, which is a Friday, or we wait until January 6th.
I feel like in the past, meeting the day after is not always great, just in case there's changes.
Changes, yeah.
Or if there's a pushback.
Or you do it on the 23rd like you have it scheduled.
It's up to however many people are gonna be here, that's why I wasn't sure.
Christmas is that Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
I'll be in town. Anybody else know if they're gonna be gone?
I'll be
or-
here, I'm not
I'll,
going
I'll be here.
yeah, I'm
Sounds like there's enough
Okay.
already, so
That's
Yeah,
assuming,
what
that's
about
assuming
Mark?
that the people that are coming.
yes,
it'll be fine.
they're on
Yeah,
schedule.
the fire department will
He's-
have another.
He's got deputies and stuff, he can send all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's just a.
So which date are we going with?
The 23rd.
23rd, thank you.
Alright, so then the next one, it can stay the 6th, cause that depended on whether or not we were having the 6th.
Right.
And then recall meeting is also on a holiday, so we'll do that on the 27th then?
January 27th.
Yeah, instead
Yeah,
of,
that's reasonable.
okay.
Well, the recall meeting, you leave it to the later date because you get, that gives, whatever your
More
B-backs are, or people with problems, that's, gives them a little, that extra week of procrastination.
Okay,
So you said 27?
27th.
And you got the 13th in reserve too.
Right,
Snow
if we
day.
move the recall to the 27th, what about the warrant articles which follows it, which was 27 or the 3rd?
3rd, so
Can
then it
we
would
do
be,
two of those the same night?
Why can't we do those on the same night?
yeah, that's what I wasn't
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
we'll do.
27th for a warrant.
Warrant, okay.
Yeah.
And then the budget hearing, because we have to have it, it has to be held on or before 2/14, which is Valentine's Day. Figured nobody wants to be together on Valentine's Day.
Only the married people.
So, because we have to have that first meeting, we can have a second meeting after, but the first one has to be before the 14th, so bumped it up to the 6th, February 6th, no date of the 7th. It's still completely open on the schedule, so it didn't interfere with anything else.
So the
Okay,
6th.
that works fine for
Works
me.
for me.
Okay.
2/6.
Yes, no, 2/6 with a snow date of 2/7.
Mhm. And Jeremy, so this time we'll get whatever nonsense they want at DRA. Okay,
Will that be after the hearing?
yeah,
After the legal posting?
press whatever button it is they want to press.
Well, the number's gonna be pretty,
Yep.
Right, so that's,
good forbid we give the voters more
We're
information.
good.
do you want a motion to officially adopt that then?
I move that we adopt the, Troy Budget Committee schedule for 24-25 as amended.
A second.
Second from Jamie, any further discussion besides those? So the only big move we did was swapping library with conservation, ZBA planning,
Yep.
And then chose date.
then we just chose dates on the few that had options.
Yep.
And Terry, you said you'll make the updates and
Yeah, y'all make the updates and I'll send it out to
Send it
everybody.
out.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make sure
Opposed?
you get my right email.
Abstentions? Okay, that passes. New business, so municipal calendar, we kinda touched on based on the dates that Tara had in here anyways, so. I don't know if anybody,
I looked at it.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
basically the same as it is every year, they just adjust it based on the calendar, so.
Not much we can do with that.
Right,
Yeah.
it's just we need to pay attention to it when we're setting our meetings, which we've already done, so.
Yep.
Good primer for people to keep track of,
Yeah,
but
we just need to notice it a week before.
keep that in your little binders.
Mhm.
Year-to-date budget versus actual general discussion. I talked to Sarah earlier and she said that she has committed everything to memory and she challenges you to come up with something that will stump her.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Alright.
Must not been there for that. You don't remember it?
She remembers the budget now.
Yeah. She had to push everything else out except for these numbers. So we're got about 33% or 25% of the year left. So just remember that's the far right column is percent left of
We
the
have,
money.
we have 34% of our money left, so we're coming in under budget. Is there big surprises that we're gonna have at the end of the year?
It just depends on snow, right? for part of it,
So going into heating season, so
Yeah.
that'll
see how much of those get eaten up.
accelerate it.
Yeah, but that should be in the budget.
Well, right, as long as it
But
doesn't go
whatever,
over,
we'd
yeah.
still be in the, we'd still be within our budget.
Well, hopefully, as long as we
Yeah.
budgeted
Yeah.
right last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus it goes down to 20 below for the next month.
They said October 16th, because it's snow up north, so.
Well, we're south, so.
Yeah.
Told you I was gonna move.
It looks like water and sewer is on Mark too.
Yep.
I mean, not a big surplus, but not way out of whack.
And that budget again was before the, fee change, the
Yeah.
rate change, so we
Yeah.
got more revenue coming in than we had planned when we made this, so.
Well, it wouldn't show up here though.
Right, that's, I'm just saying,
Yeah, yeah.
we're more comfortable than we were.
Yeah, I got my new improved water bills.
You're welcome.
Percentage?
You can let us save stamps, thanks,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I'm just curious, I'm looking top line on the second page here, the town report printing. Looks like it's already gone.
So that would've been printed in February.
Yes,
Yeah.
we printed it in February.
Okay, all right,
So,
that was,
and
that was the
then
question, yeah.
We'll budget for it again and we'll print it
Next
in.
year, we'll budget for money we've already spent.
Yes,
That's
Well,
what we always do, yeah.
that's
yeah.
you'd think we'd get the number right then.
No,
That's true.
No, because we have to guess now what it'll cost us to print it in February. And I can tell you that Mary had somebody, her first year here, and we did this low bid thing, and it was a catastrophe. So we're sticking with the guy, it wasn't like $1,800 on a month.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Mm.
can, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really making believe I can see these pages, I will.
company we have now is pretty good.
Yeah.
I used them before too. I think like half the state uses them.
And there used people rushing in with. So Jeremy, at our meeting next week, we should talk about the town report and pictures and dedication. Has anybody fun died this year? Alan? Yeah, sticking out the end of the year?
For
Well, we need
dedication, you
to,
mean?
yeah, we need to,
jeez.
gotta dedicate the town report to somebody, we have everybody fun that's died,
First
so.
off, you don't have to dedicate it to somebody.
No, we don't, no. We could.
And generally, it's only if someone who has been significant in town affairs has passed away during the year,
Correct.
and it can be more than one person,
That's true, we've done all those things.
Yeah.
Those-
so nothing stands out there.
Okay.
Is anything in the budget jumping out at anybody to want Sarah to look into, or Jeremy?
I have some insights into some budgeting things in town hall, whether you wanna deal with them now or when they come before you, that's fine, I know. We have, the file room project and some of the equipment, we're gonna be moving some money around probably from the selectmen's budget where we have, equipment money we may not have fully expended, and using it to buy file cabinets that are really required by law. So there's a potential for a overrun on equipment between the tax collector's office and the selectman's office. But we're really supposed to have locking file cabinets, particularly with regard to vital records, voting records, and vehicle registrations. So they literally should be in a locked cabinet in a locked room. And they're not. So we're looking to expend some money on that. So but we'll see when the numbers come in. We'll still be under budget, but nobody's gonna be on wrong lines, and there'll be one-time expenses, so.
So that'll happen this budget year then?
It'll come out of this money, but when we come to build the budget for next year, you're gonna see negative numbers on those lines. But the overall budget will still be under budget and we won't need that money next year.
The auditor's line, which is 4150, So that shows $50,000 is not expended this year, cause what we did last year, at the end of last year, we encumbered the money for the 2021 audit, cause we're still behind. So the goal with the auditors is to get fully caught up, do 22 and 23 before the end of the year, so that number should be gone, or encumbered. And then next year we can cut that in half to
Right.
25,
Okay.
and then hopefully we'll be.
Where are you with those audits, do you know?
22, the CPA came in to check the books to make sure we're ready.
Yeah.
So the auditors should hopefully be in fairly soon. They said they are pretty optimistic they can get,
Both of them done.
yeah, by the end of the year, which is good. That way we really know what we have.
Caught up.
Yeah.
It was like every year, like, we're gonna do 3 this year, and then like, alright, we got 1 done. And that's finally
I was
worked.
trying not to push them too much, but I was like, come
No,
on.
that's great. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Maybe we could look to encumber other money, if possible. I don't have any particular examples, but.
And training and overtime in the police department, we have a new employee, or we did, so that's that. Sarah and your photographic memory for all things.
They charge it into the training line.
And the police, wrong line, police, yeah, police, there is.
That's how much is left.
Hold on.
Oh, there's a
Not-
mandatory training line, but then there's a hiring and training line
Yeah.
down lower, so I guess it depends on which line there. So this is,
No, yeah, okay, it wasn't that one, somewhere else though, there's somewhere where the training is, oh, it's in town hall, there's,
Okay.
but, you know. What can I say?
Yeah, you're looking at the selectmen's.
Yeah, no, I thought it was in the fire, in the police department too, but I was wrong.
Dick, do you know with the storage that you're talking about, I just noticed that the vault storage is way overspent.
Yes,
Will that reduce that number?
that number goes away.
Okay.
That number may have already gone away. There's a story there, and when Chrissy presents her budget, basically, we had not paid for this so-called vault storage. And then they weren't really doing what they were supposed to do, so I think what happened is we paid them whatever their past due was and got whatever it was back. But I could be wrong about some of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be storing that in-house now.
Yeah.
That's the new file room.
We've made quite a lot of effort on reorganizing and consolidating the files in town hall. And we built a file room, specifically a file room off of the old fire department. So there was some construction expense there. And I walked through it this afternoon with Chrissy on what's left. We have a little carpentry work that's left, and the floor needs to be painted, and then we need the equipment, the shelves, basically. And we opted for the files that need to be semi-secure to go in banker boxes. And the ones that need to be fully secured, that's where the new file cabinets will go in there. They'll be locked in a locked room. There's a lot of consolidation, as most of you probably have heard me whine about. The files in the town hall are variously located in the selectman's office, behind the stage upstairs, in the room down in the old fire department, and scattered through various file cabinets throughout the building. And so the intent is to sort out duplicate files. The ZBA gets the gold star for the best files.
Good job, Steve.
I didn't have anything to do with
Just
that.
take the
Well, take the win, man.
Was that two folders?
Yeah. And anyway, so and once we have all of the files that we are required by law to have, in a place that by law we are required to be able to find them, then we'll look at the pile of what's left over, which we anticipate there will be a lot. We calculate that roughly 60 to 70% of the stuff we have is not required by law or needed or anything. You know, an example was we were preserving Ivor Olson sermon notes from 32 years ago. Cool, but not necessary. They'd also preserved a mailing that I sent out when I first started my company in 1994. I have no idea why. This is pre-internet, okay? So there's no like fax.com or anything on it. Or the website before that. So, you know, stuff like that, there's no reason for the town to be storing this.
Well, when we got the internet, there's also printouts of every emails that we're getting.
Correct. No, you laugh. That's not a joke. Okay, print it out.
If you ever wanna know everything about the Dollar General when it came in, we have all those books.
Yep. And yes, you'll find we have emails that were printed out with the speedy memos, you know, that came in 3 parts attached to that. So we have, this is before Alan got there. This is like just, they clearly didn't get it. So we're working, once we have everything sorted out that we know that we need, then we will look at the leftover stuff and say, maybe we have a big bonfire or something
On the common.
on the common, yeah.
With the fire department.
Sure. They'll be there one way or the other.
That's true.
Yes, we might be off the hook, Sarah, nobody seems to have any real questions.
She was prepared.
She wasn't prepared, see, that's.
Well, okay, I have one.
There you go.
I mean,
There you go.
there it's there. So, the transfer station, waste and recycle.
Is this page or an account?
Oh,
page
oh
one.
goodness, what page am I on?
They're up in the corner.
Page 15, it's 4321,960. So they're over on that one, do you know what they put in that line?
Which one is this?
Waste and recycle,
Which line are you on?
960,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 50% over.
So,
yeah, it's 4321,960,
you're supposed to,
yeah, that one,
dispose of waste oils that you
right,
collect every so often
yes,
and not hoard them.
is that what this,
And the town of
That's from-
Troy isn't exactly done what we're
I
supposed
know,
to
we
do.
were a bit of hoarding, yeah,
So I've been working with them to get the company to come in to get them, and
Mhm.
what ended up happening is, I thought they just like went MIA and stopped responding to us. What they did was they dropped off a bunch of barrels and said, here, fill these in,
mm-hmm,
and then they'll take them. It's not cheap.
That's the
No.
bill.
So
Yeah.
the bill is for all these barrels that we have
oh,
yet
the oil, yeah.
to, but I'm wondering why we hadn't budgeted and planned for it before, but
Did we
evidently
know about it?
we haven't done this.
Well, because we didn't, I think if you go back on the prior years, you'll find we expended very little or nothing on that line.
Because we never
Yeah.
did.
That was part of the hoarding.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you just let them sit there,
It's
Supposedly,
free.
if the city comes down, they won't be
But I-
happy, so. we
Yeah,
have
it's
to
a
get rid of
problem,
it.
it needs to go, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
the good news is only $1,500.
No, I know, nothing is too
Right,
crazy,
Yeah,
I mean,
once we pay to get rid of it.
Yeah.
so that would be like a
Because you used to be able
regular
to just give
thing.
your oil away and somebody could use it in their, waste oil furnace if they wanted to.
Well, right, I don't know what the rules are.
Which we
with
could
that.
get our own and do that internally, but they don't like you just giving it to, they wanna make sure it goes to where it's supposed to go.
Oh, that
Hmm.
EPA.
Where did you come up with that $1,500 to?
It's right there on the line.
Overspent.
960.
Overspent.
No, overspent by
Okay.
1589.
Yeah.
You're 52% overexpended, you had a $3,000 budget.
I got that, I was looking at the big number going.
Oh,
And there's a couple of like truck
See, that's a good question.
repairs and things, but everybody's still within their budget, so, I mean, this is where we get into like, we're fixing,
You would think somebody would
Vehicles.
buy that stuff.
there's weird traffic in the oil world, apparently.
All you need to do is find somebody who has a waste oil furnace and they'll take
There's
it.
that, and then you can like
You're not
read
supposed to.
weird things, yeah.
Yeah, there's funny, like, the
Yeah.
high school was built to run on waste oil. Actually, the high school was built, you could burn tar in it. No, literally, you could.
Yeah.
And then they told us a couple of years ago you couldn't do that, we had to buy nice, clean #2 oil. So-
Because the environment.
Heck, if all the
Yeah.
towns gave them their waste oil.
I know.
No, well, that was, in 1963, pretty sure that was the thinking. There's nothing wrong with those burners, they can do it, you can take that road out there and throw it in, literally. It was designed for that. #4 oil,
Now you throw stuff in there, everybody freaks out.
does it get, it gets thicker as it gets,
Yeah, I worked at a building that burned bunker C.
yeah, bunker C fuel, yeah.
Yeah,
that's my
but that has to
grandpa
be
used
heated to burn it.
Yeah, well, they prime the thing and then you just
Yeah.
throw it in on top, yeah.
Okay.
And the fun story about that was when you ordered it by the tanker full.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have room in the tank, it went on the ground.
Mm-hmm, sure.
They just hooked the tank up and.
You just go out there with a shovel and throw it in later.
Well, that's a good class, an elective.
Well, you had to be careful that when you called them, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Later converted to natural gas, I believe.
Sure, that's good.
Alright, so that's that. We move on to old business. Anybody have any old business? Was there a CIP meeting between now and then, or you guys moved it to have this meeting? Is that right?
No, we did have a
You
meeting.
did have one. Do you
We
have
had
any
a meeting.
updates?
We had a meeting, did we what?
Do you have any updates?
Well.
We're
we
gonna
didn't-
try to,
we
we're gonna
didn't
try to
know-
do some recommendations for what.
Yeah, not everybody responded, but we have some basic recommendations, and we have a decent amount of information to make those recommendations based off of.
Hmm.
I
So,
have a
still gotta
CIP
get up
question.
on some roofs, but you know,
So many of the departments have money in their budgets for, like the police department puts aside so much every year for cruiser, the next one. And the fire department has some money that they put aside towards new equipment. So,
And those are their expendable trust funds.
well, not in the police department,
Yeah, they have one.
okay, I didn't realize that, but, isn't that really the same thing? So should that money come over and be calculated in as part of the CIP?
yeah,
Yeah, actually what the CIP is gonna do is recommend how much to put away to make sure that the money
There's
is there.
enough
when they
money
need it.
there. Okay.
right,
Like
based
this
on
year,
life
we
of
put
vehicle.
money in, then we bought the cruiser and we wiped it all out,
Sure, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
which is fine.
And
So,
in couple of years, you're gonna need another one.
right, so it's
Right.
making the recommendation, you need to put X amount of dollars away.
Okay.
And that's the whole, and the same thing with like building upkeep and,
Right.
yeah, so that's, and it won't all be caught up this year, because everybody
Oh, God,
can't
no.
afford to put in what they need to purchase all of
No.
their things, that doesn't make
Maybe the
sense, but,
selectmen are generous this year.
sure.
Not the selectmen, it's,
Well, I was thinking like unassigned fund balance use or something, but that'd be
Yeah,
fine.
well,
well,
1.2 million for the fire truck is not gonna happen.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna
But,
fund
you
it
know,
all in 1 year anyway.
But that's what we're
That's
looking
just
at,
one
just
of
to
the-
help
but-
even it off.
well, as I thought about this after the last meeting, you kinda have the typical debtor's problem.
Right,
I need something now, so I have to go into debt for it. Now, because I have this debt that I have to pay off, I don't have enough money left over to save.
right,
So there's gotta, if there's a way to slowly work into this, to like switch over from our current system, which is funding by crisis,
yeah.
to funding
Sort of
by planning.
Partial.
Mhm.
Yeah, partially funding by crisis.
Well, I was sort of hoping that maybe some of the, surplus could be used to sort of jumpstart this a little bit.
Well, we'd have, and that's certainly a reasonable thing to do, and, the Giorgiani fund, and we've been saving that from for a rainy day since the day we got it, so I'm not sure what that rainy day is, but that could be.
Maybe a new
directed
fire
there.
truck.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
Well, you
I-
can order it tomorrow, or you're not gonna get it for 2 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd really like to see grants for that, cause they're just ridiculously expensive.
Well, and there
there's
are
lots
grants
of-
for
There are
those kind of
tons of
things.
grants for
Right.
things like that, so we need to be looking at that too, so we're not,
Need to look for
Hammered by it.
grants
But it
for
could be a
police
situation where
cars,
the
too.
CIP
Yeah.
recommends 600,000 and the town just could do 300 this year, and at least you're starting and
right.
Yeah,
the ball rolling,
Well, you need to establish the goal and then figure out how you're gonna get there too.
Well, it's getting the departments to think about it too.
Right.
You know, so you have a really old piece of equipment, like what's gonna happen if that dies, then what? So
Right.
let's start thinking about planning for how we're gonna replace that when the time comes,
Mhm.
so.
Any further updates from the select board besides the filing?
No, I got nothing.
Town administrator? Nothing coming? What about the medical thing, do you wanna explain that? Okay, I've got here after you.
Sure. So I included a handout in the packet, these are estimated medical, increases for next year, right now it's 9.8%. That's the estimate, the Health Trust Board meets on October 8th, and then the town will get a letter October 16th with our actual, increase.
What's about our total spend and health, maybe,
It's a Sarah question, that's not.
Well, I have the printout on my desk, I should know that, but. Probably figure it out pretty quickly, right?
Would that be in each department though?
Is it,
Yeah, we don't have that many people actually.
Oh.
Okay, then do the whole-
Yeah, actually,
that's not bad,
yeah.
so.
I don't know what they're coming in here for.
It's just
Well,
closed.
Yeah, sometimes you just drop books off.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
People are phenomenally
Hundred
generous.
eighty.
Adam's on door watch.
180,000 a year?
It'd be 6 people at 30,000 apiece.
I just feel like it's like 15 grand a month
Sounds right.
that I sign checks.
what did you say it was, how much?
Is it 180?
Oh, I forgot. Right, library, right?
I was trying to figure out what this town
Oh,
was.
highway. The, whoops. Yeah, I'm forgetting the large departments, that's why.
How many employees are covered by this?
Jeremy's trying to put that on right now.
Oh, okay.
So 185 plus library, right, which would only go one person? So 197 is like 200? 200?
Oh,
Invoice number includes what the employees pay into it.
it's gonna cost another
So
20,000.
the number in the budget is just the town portion?
Yeah, cause when it comes out of the employee's paycheck, it goes into a separate.
Yeah, so about
Yeah.
200 or so,
Oh,
plus 15%.
For 6 people.
The town will be paying.
No, it's like
No, all PD,
Oh, okay.
plus the
Me.
water sewer.
so it actually be higher.
Is what it is, just curious.
Unless we made a shift and changed a lot of people to high deductible plans and had somewhat funding those, and it gets really. Some of the larger towns are talking about that, and I was like, oh god, who wants to do that?
The rest of the world is doing.
But the cities and larger towns are talking about like, they have unions and stuff, which is
Yeah.
really sticky, you know.
They talking about what?
They have unions dealing with this stuff, so it gets really sticky there, obviously we don't.
Right, but what are those towns doing?
Well, some of them have switched over to like deductible plans where they fund part of it, so it's taking the burden off.
School district did that.
Just right now, we have, my personal opinion, unless you're using it a lot, then you're probably overinsured, like I know I am.
Single male, no kids, under 40, yeah,
Yeah.
you're great.
I love
Your
it.
your insurance company loves you.
And I get old.
Yeah, and then you use it.
So we'll have the final rates the 16th, and those will be the numbers plugged into the budget. So actually, the water and sewer, when we first, so we'll have their numbers, we'll have to do that for estimate. Shit. Cause they meet with this like in the 17th.
Yeah.
Cause John said he finished his budget, but he didn't do the, he's like, oh, it didn't go up at all, and I'm like, you're asking for all those reasons, no. He hadn't put in that, and
Yeah,
I'm like, well, you should at least plug in a number, so you have an idea, but,
you just take what you're at and go up.
yeah.
Right,
28%.
9%, sure.
Anything else? for old business?
No.
Public comments?
I've actually got a question here. Putting to you.
I got something too. Well, no,
The voice over IP conversions for the phone lines?
He's still working on it.
Okay.
It's on minutes.
I think I've got a solution for doing the one in the elevator.
Really?
Yeah, just add uninterruptible power supply to it. I ain't got no problem. Well, we're looking at converting phone lines, the landlines, to voice over IP. And they were like, well, you don't really wanna do the one in the elevator, because if you lose power, but I'm saying if you put a little uninterruptible power supply in there,
Battery backup.
yeah, battery backup,
Yeah.
and keep the line up, or even if it stays up for a few hours, nobody's gonna be in here on a power outage.
Don't they have POTS lines for that?
Hmm?
Isn't it just plain old telephone service?
Yeah, but they're trying to get you off of that,
Yeah.
and the voice over IP is like way cheaper, so we can save a lot of money by going.
I kept one POTS line in each office.
library trustee, library.
Yeah, P. Larson, the librarian, so it's cool.
Oh, okay.
But they recommended that I keep,
I'm going to shut this so that we don't disturb you.
Okay, thank you.
I kept one copper line in each location. That was, the phone guys recommended that to me because of what you just described. If you lose power, you know,
But it doesn't take a whole lot to run the network interface.
no, probably not.
Are there rules around that? I mean, there's.
That I don't know, I need to.
Like fire elevator, they have stuff around it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know, that would be my question before you put any energy into.
Well, my real question is, how much money are we talking about here on an annual basis? We're talking about $50.
On the residential, it's like,
Well,
It's
like
negligible.
what, it's like $7 for the voice over IP, and I think it's like 30
at least
for a
it's
copper
working.
line.
Yeah, but, so we're talking about,
Guys, make married.
we would, the net gain to the town is $23
Times 12
times 12
per line.
per line.
Well, of course, these are probably business lines, so they're probably more expensive anyway.
Well, it might be a different rate again for municipal.
We'll wait for Sarah and she'll tell us all about it.
Yeah.
It was just a thought, if you know you need a line to be up, then you just give it power and it's up.
Mm.
Cause they'll keep the fiber running.
Mhm.
Alan, you had something?
Oh, yeah. Adam, this is your final year of your 3-year term.
Yep.
And based on that one gesture you just made, I'm thinking that maybe you were not planning to re-enlist.
Correct.
Okay,
Don't
so
celebrate
that slot will become open. Richard's slot is open for this year. And Matt Meacham is also expiring at the same time. So when I next see Matt, I will remind him.
Perfect, thank you.
Opportunities for community engagement for new people.
This is a great committee to start on. You
It's a great.
learn a little bit about everything.
Mhm.
I'll think about merit badges
You should.
You get a total integration, total introduction to town government on this committee.
I think this is my 9th year that I'm ending right now, maybe 10th.
That's more than enough.
Oh my gracious. Tom Walsh was a selectman, I think he said for 14 years. Cause he came back and filled in a thing, I said, oh, Tom. What were you thinking? He said,
Yeah, this is.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
I think the time we
This is
set
our
for-
4th year.
Yes.
If there's nothing else, our next meeting is Monday the 21st, unless Ben thinks we need to get together before. I feel like we'll just be ready for water sewer and the 3 kind of land boards.
Next meeting is
Monday, October 21st, 6 p.m. We should have the health numbers from Jeremy. And water sewer will be ready to enter entertain and delight us.
Is Ben hunting and gathering in Montana or something?
He's in New York, and I don't know for what.
Oh.
He didn't actually tell me why he was in New York, but he was in New York.
I move that we adjourn.
I will second.
I don't even bother doing that, we're adjourned. 6:41, Sarah, I gave you 7 extra minutes.
I picked that up from you guys. I never get a
feel like
motion
we
to do
had
that
a
on.
15-minute one.
Thanks, everybody.
I realized what you were saying, even though I couldn't understand it when you said it.
Okay.
But by the time I figured it out, you'd already said
Yeah.
it's cool. That's all I really needed to know.
27
Seminars?
the training.
Oh,
Say that again.
Well, when I saw
It was
some
like a
silhouettes
credit.
moving in,
It looks like.
Oh, yeah,
I told you, and you said something, and I realized you're telling me the library director was a woman.
Yes.
But that, I can't hear that.
I slowly
Because
glanced
when I
over.
heard you say it's cool, that's all I needed.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I realized what you had said afterwards.
You know, the voice over IP thing, that doesn't